Good morning. Welcome to the breakfast show, TradeVSA 360. Now, we have seen the extent of the war, which has been hogging pretty much our headline. It's either the stock markets going down or crude oil price going higher, and that has caused a lot of market volatility in many of us are not familiar in seeing, because the last war that we have was a bit far back. We can only remember 9/11. So let me break it down to you by looking at what are those sectors that we have in mind that is likely to be trending up and whether you should be in or out of the market that we've seen so far. Let's get down to what we have for you this morning in our TradeVSA 360 in here. Definitely a show that you shouldn't be missed. And of course, we continue to welcome your feedback, which is important. This is a QR code. What is that do you like me to talk about in my morning show in here? And market sentiments, daily forecast, steel industry, FCPO. So we want to hear from you. This is another way for me to interact with you if you find our program has been very helpful in here, so we can reach out to you. Definitely one of our March 12th, which is tomorrow, our market 2022 main conference is no other than our Wyckoff superstar, Dr. Gary. As I said before, Dr. Gary has been a friend of mine, and he's been very instrumental to me in learning about the Wyckoff, and I do hope he's sharing tomorrow at our market conference. So make sure you check out and get that free tickets right at the below there in here. And he has been very great because he introduced trader a lot of a deep practice, which I always talk about in here, and how to avoid the so-called overcoming fear that we all seen many of our members and many of you have, especially right now that we've seen the Ukraine war, all this war, and been getting a lot of mails inside there. Are we going to third world war? Is the markets going to crash? Is there going to be more recession? Is there going to be interest rate and all this? But you can take control of your trading by focus on the right thing, and let Dr. Gary share with you some of the tips that we have. So make sure you don't miss him tomorrow, of course, in our market conference. And of course, today is our 360 VSA 360 in here, the one-stop shop that help you to trade better in here. Now let's look at what the market here with our TradeVSA plugin that we've seen. Last night the market slide because of the impossible of what we've seen, the Turkey peace talk they wanted to have between the Ukraine. I think many of you would have, and it stalled. But having said that, the market did pull back a bit, as you can see from the chart here. Let me just bring it up. That's right. The market did hit low when the war first started, but retest back here. This is the important point that I was talking about here. You can see here, this part here, that's the market, right? So that's formed some sort of a double bottom. Yes, it's still pretty much in the downtrend. You can see here, right? Still a downtrend as it goes on in here. Of course, if the peace talk is in place, then this market is going to turn back up in here. How far, we do not know, but we do know right now, as we speak of, the Russian continue to push into Kiev, they may be likely to test the market. Now, this kind of volatility may not be suitable for you, but what you want to do is maybe perhaps avoid this market in here. And right now, our market is still going that kind of thing. But if you're longer term, and I did talk about the consequence of the war and what the market likely to rebound back, check out some of our videos that we have on YouTube in here. And to those of you who's been following very closely, I did talk about the required time for the market to recover. And of course, this morning in here, we do find our 360, VSA 360 can boost your trading level, investing level, to becoming a more intelligent level in here, where you can trade smarter, and you can do that too in here. And then to our VSA 360, the focus has always been on the fundamental side, looking price, floating shares, and of course, the sector which usually we cover in our 360 this morning here. What are the markets you want to be in, what you want to be about in, and how should I allocate my trading to the sector location in here. Specialized training will be definitely be in our master class. All right, so let's take a look at this morning top 3 things you need to know. The market is still pretty much in the red pentagon. As I said before, the KLCI did hit a support. So let me just bring out the 360 that we have here. This is the 360 that we have. Switch on to the dashboard. You can see this is the market that we've seen rebound back. You know, we did hit a support 1560. So right now the market is down 17 points, right, which does tell you how volatile this market is going to be. We did a Hang Seng dropped 600 points, the Dow Jones down about 100, and 12 points, 112 points, staying up. Let's take a look at the sector, okay, which is under, and the foreign funds. Look at this, check this out, okay. The foreign fund has been pretty much, let's switch to a bigger chart in here, and this is something that only available, right, with the 360. You can see the foreign fund has been coming in very nicely in here. So that tells you the support that we've seen. Let's go back to here on the 1560 should able to stay, because we have found out evidently every time when there is a lot of foreign funds coming in and support, there will market be a longer term. You need to be focused on the longer term. Let's take a look at the what is down this morning. Everything is down. We got Top Glove. There was a news not so good on Top Glove, saying that a lot of the costs are going up, petrol prices, electricity, all these kind of things are going up, and the market now fell almost 17 points, just holding overnight. If you have bought it and hold overnight, this morning is already in the red. So maybe the market will today, it's best that you close your position. We do not really know what's going to happen in here. And if you can look for all the sectors, which I'm going to show you in the KLCI sector in here, which that tells you, right, everything is already in the red. All right, so everything is red, only the green it's only red. What stock is in green, we will check it out and let you know too. All right, so what's in our TradeVSA Alert this morning in here? Okay, let's bring out TradeVSA Alert. Go to the top right hand side, and you see this number 4 here. Click on that one and hit that, and that tells you, yes, we do have DIY, MPI, and KLK turning green pentagon. Look at that one. Public Bank turned green pentagon, right? Turn green pentagon on the 10th. Let's take a look at Public Bank this morning. That's right. You see, Public Bank turned back up. That is actually a very, very telltale sign. So with this in mind, also, let me just introduce our new feature, which is the ranking, right? You can see Public Bank is ranked 16 out of 35, but it is 8 out of 10. Not one of the best bank in here. All right, and let's look at the KLK. Hit KLK in here, and you can see KLK is number 2 out of the plantation. 43, 2 out of 43. Look at that, 7 out of 8 with a dividend of 4% and the ROE of 20. That tells you why this is the number second best in terms of plantation in here, a long-term stocks. And you can see, you know, right now, unfortunately, KLK has turned red pentagon, right? Red pentagon for much of that, right? And yeah, KLK turned red pentagon in here. So if you have it, no surprises, you need to take a bit of profit in here. Senso, Cisco turned red, Data Prep turning green. So something that you want to check out every morning when you get on to the VSA 360, which we only have 4 new alert as of the 10th of March in here. As of the 11th of March, news alert for the March 10th as of the 10/20. Okay, so that is the benefit of 360 in here. Check it out, and let's go on to our next story. Now, next story here, something I've just talked about in here, the continued really all red pentagon in here. That probably tells you if you are trading, right, you should stay out of the market. That's right. That's why we always talk about the Fishbone Diagram on Wednesday, creating the trading plan, which we already break it down here. So you need to ask yourself, do you have a system? Do you constantly make money or not, right? And what if the market doesn't turn out? What would be your strategy for that one in here? By having that, check out that video with the Fishbone Diagram. You're probably able to analyze systematically where that parts of your trading or your investing that really need improvement. Is it more training is inside there? Is it more guidance, or the tools that you're using, or you're just simply hantam and, you know, trading based on rumor and fact? So I think that's also important, why, you know, we always want to look at the systematic way of trading in here. Continue to show. All right, let's take a look at last week, which is the 3rd of March, and right now you could see the plantation previously was green pentagon, has turned red pentagon already. All right, so that's how we are able to detect the earlier sign. Now, of course, we have seen energy prices continue to go up, but take note, the energy last week here, this is a current one, broke through the ATL stop loss, and since red pentagon in here, so that probably tell you a lot of the energy sectors are breaking down. No doubt you are listening to the news, but look out for the charts. That's why I would say look out for the charts. No reversal yet to the upside. And last week previously we had plantation was green pentagon continue to go up, and I always talk about anything that's go parabolic, be careful, it will turn. And indeed it turned red pentagon, and since then that is actually a good early warning sign for you. Right at the bottom here, if you got in, and this is the sign. So a lot of the plantation stocks, just be careful. Even we just saw, right, KLK has turned red pentagon just now, but you know that 3 days ago, if you have got the plantation sector, you will know it turned red pentagon in here. Tax is still down, no doubt about it. There is a lot of talks, I want to buy average down in here. We did have a couple of pullbacks in here, but overall you need to check out the sector in here. No green pentagon yet, and of course I would like to see a bit more support, a bit more accumulation at the right part, and this is something I will be talking more on our TradeVSA. Still down in here, and for a low price of 2 ringgit per day per market in here, right, you're able to find out all the information in it. Just remember, there's always some cost to managing our portfolio in our trading. Without that, you will end up with maybe more bad situation than it. All right, so there's a QR code. Check out our pricing in here, special rating here, and of course our 360. Let's take a look at what we have for you on our winner and loser so far. What we have here, the winner, so you go to the screener and go to winner and loser, and this is where we talk about all the best use cases. Of course we also have the worst cases here, right? The losses are smaller in here, about 7. This Suryan is down 9%, Cycom is down 9%, of course technology stocks, but those that has done well, you can just scroll this up, has been K Power, okay, and surprisingly Padini, right, came in, and double click this and that will take you to Padini. So you can see Padini is not listed in here. Just waiting for the charts to refresh here. Okay, yes, there you go. And nice green pentagon, and this is the kind of market stages that you like. You have a double bottom, you got low volume in here, and then the market picks up in here. Of course right now by the time you pick it up will be a bit late, but that was the time in here when it first broke through in here. Of course this one is analysts have it at 3 ringgit 80 cent. That is 3rd of March, 15.5% upside. 3 ringgit 80 cent right now is 320. This morning seems to be moving up nicely in here. Last updated was 1018 here. Okay, so that was one, and that's a new entry. Gamunda, okay, that's something that we bought to earlier on. You can see green pentagon, and that was a nice one. This morning down 1.2 because you got the double. This is a nice, really nice pullback in here. They won a couple of projects. I think if you scroll down right below here, they won the Australian projects, or the Australian tunneling project, which is on the 2nd of you can see that here. You can see on the 2nd of March, and Gamunda, really, you can see here, very, very nicely done. One of the best construction company, is it? Am I correct? Yes, number 3 out of 60 and number 3 out of 60 in here. So good one in here. FA Dido pays about 2% dividend in here. So Gamunda looks like a construction in here. Will they be winning more projects? Let's take a look at us last 6 months in here. Definitely it's going to retest back the old support, the old resistance way back in 17th of March in here with this new project that you're having. Of course, all this in VSA 360 in here, and that's really how you want to pick up some of the winners. Continue to buy on to the trend. And definitely on the US side, you heard about this company Occidental Petroleum, which has been a fair bit of buying by Warren Buffett in here. So that's why this exceptionally strong return in here, going back to about 46.3. So we can always check it out here. OXY, just bring it up here. Yep, that's the one. Okay, and hit here. OXY, a stock that was bought by Warren Buffett in here. And yep, that's the one. You can see, yep, you can see the market right since the green pentagon here. There were earlier green pentagon way back in 1st of February, another one here, but did not hit any of our ATR stop loss. So you could see this is why this market gone up almost 60% when everybody discovered that Warren Buffett actually bought into this stocks in here. So that's usually the case, but I don't think you should be buying, just like what we've seen with the plantation sector. When the green pentagon turned, that's the one you want to be buying in here. Okay, so take a look in here, and of course you also need to cut loss if the trade don't work out well in here. Okay, so check out the VSA 360 in here. If you don't have a copy, it's time for you to subscribe to our VSA 360 for the feature that we have in here. All right, and let's move on to all right, something I want to talk about very dear to me, myself and Coach Arif, is our VSA Turtle trading program, which we will focus only on one trading method, which is the VSA 360 intraday that we did in January and February. Remember, during that time we had a lot of market volatility, but very importantly, the coaches and myself were able to do a lot of sharing. What are the things they look at, and what we have found out that the 2 months bi-weekly meeting was very, very good way where we learn a lot from the students and how we want to improve our delivery to you. You are our students in here, and how you can benefit in here through our 9 Turtle Trader. The result will be awarded tomorrow. That's right, the result will be awarded. But let me share with you in here our Turtle trading program. Just in a week of 2 weeks itself, they were able to make about 8.8% return, and you can see depending on the skill that you have, people vary, but majority of them are doing at least on the positive side in here. With the worst case was about a slight 3% down in here. I think that's whole point we want to do, is to provide you a fail-safe environment where you can learn to trade, and that result, right, that we see one of our true winner in here, he walks away with a prize money of worth 2,688 ringgit in here. All right, and that is our 2022 Turtle trading winner for VSA in here, Miss Roslyn Tay. And of course, this all comes from our forefather, who has always been in the forefront, like we see here, Dr. Gary in here. What they have taught us, we continue to proliferate and teaching to the next generation of trader and investor like yourself, which we don't rely on listening to tips, because we all know when we first started up listening on tips, we will never prosper, and that's why we need to constantly upgrade our skill and our knowledge in here. And of course, free gift, right? Most important, you're like free gift, isn't it? There'll be 10 winners who will take home 100 Grab voucher in here for tomorrow, our free market conference in here. So make sure you share the link that you've seen right at the below there with your friends, and they're able to capitalize on this and able to walk away with a lot of sharing in here. And right now, we'll come to our stock pick. Any couple of stocks that you want me to look at, feel free inside there. We have Peter Boo here asking, is Kellington for long term? Very, very good question. Why don't you come tomorrow and ask the CFO himself whether it's a good long term or not? As for me, very simple. If you look back at the VSA 360, right? VSA 360, and you type KGB, right? Don't ask me for that. Look at the analysis that you have inside here. If you have it for 6 years, right, bring it up here. How much would you have made? From a 10,000 ringgit to, that's 100,000 ringgit. Whether it is long term or not, I'll leave it up to you. But of course, along the way, there is market volatility. More importantly is, have analysis on it. Why do you want to keep it for long term? Right? And if the market were to go down, what would you do? Again, go back to the fishbone diagram that I'll talk about on Wednesday. That will simply tells you where are the areas you need to improve yourself and get proper training and tools, and that way you're able to enjoy many of the success that we have enjoyed by our students, just like a Turtle trading Turtle trader winner, Miss Roslyn Tay, that made about 21% in 2 months in here. I think not so much about the performance, it's what do you do during adversity. When the market right now, right, the Russian and Ukraine war, you will see there is a lot of opportunity. So do you fear or do you take opportunity? I think that's the whole concept. What we are doing here in our TradeVSA community is able to support you, right, for the right guidance going forward in here. So any other stocks you want me to look at, just feel free to pencil in there. All right. But definitely we have seen some of the Mr. DIY has turned green pentagon, so let's check out DIY here. Okay, this one I think this server is a bit busy here. Okay, let's go back. Okay, let's put DIY. Try one more time. The server is busy right now. Usually you get this when the server is busy. Okay, let's try another one. Yep, okay, so right, let's do DIY. This one is, it's gonna be busy. All right, I think it's been let's try MPI. Okay, so MPI is fine. Now MPI, you can see this is number 2 of the great semiconductor stocks inside here, rated 1 here, and 6-hour technology. All right, and let's take a look at Inari. Where is Inari? And Inari is number 1 of the semiconductor. That's why we always talk about Inari. And you can type KGB. All right, let's take a look at KGB. KGB is ranked number 3 out of the 14 industrial product. It is a growth stock. You can see here we're growing revenue. It is also growing at reasonable pricing in here. All that in TradeVSA, and look at the analyst price, March 3rd of 2022. What is the analyst looking at? Target profit of 190. I do hope some of the information that we have in KGB will fulfill your criteria, whether you're holding a long term. Now, holding a long term shouldn't be my opinion. Mine is just an opinion, but look at the fact that we're seeing in here in 360 in here. And if you have done that, your 10,000 ringgit that you bought will become $100,000 already right now in here. Right, our current is about 90,000. Of course, it did went up to 128,000. Previously was in September. Okay, so take note of that one. KGB smart. Now the KGB don't have smart money banker in the chart. I think partly because you need to check with your source. The smart money that you have inside there has a different kind of definition. All right, check it out inside there in here. If you want to ask about smart money, then the right person to ask is the CFO in here. But right now, what I do see, KGB is a good opportunity in here. The smart money banker chip, something that you need to find out from your provider. Let's take a look at SL West. Now, SL West is interesting, is because what we are seeing right now is the markup of the foreign funds that is coming in, and we do see a lot of the US stock is already moving higher. If you look at from that one, let's check out earlier on I talked about Canadian Solar CSIQ, right, and that has moved up, you can see, right. So remember, a lot of the time the Malaysian stocks, especially the EV, take a pick from the US stock. So right now you can see, let's go to SL West. Okay, and SLY has been falling a fair bit in here, and that's why it's picking up in here. We've got just turned green pentagon today, right? Turned green pentagon, and there was a good news in here. Wait for a slight pullback, and I think if you just have any correlation between SL West and the Canadian Solar, just like you have also Canadian Solar, you can put Enphase, which is another energy. Yeah, Enphase Energy in here, a Nasdaq stock. So you can see all them are rebounding right now in here, but after a double bottom. And you can see the peak below here, what we saw, the market stages here, where this is something you want to look at. This market stages, definitely that tells you, right, smart money is already been coming in here. Okay, so that's important in here. Look at the market stages in here, and that will be a telltale sign. Let's look at the SL West. And so right now SL West needs to form that double bottom. You can see that double bottom that we have both on the market stages in here, then that will be a much better trade than it is. Okay, so that's all I have for this morning. If you have any stocks that you want me to take a look in here, and don't forget to smash the YouTube subscriber. That's right, go over to YouTube subscriber and smash that, and subscribe to our YouTube for all our live FB that we talk about, just like our Fishbone Diagram on creating a trading plan. And not to forget, right, to join our Telegram chat room for stock market information, right? Chat room here, and for all things related to Wyckoff in VSA. Share that in our group. And thank you for coming this morning in here. So I'll see you all tomorrow morning for our market conference. And do share our market conference with your friends. And it's absolutely free with free gift up to 100 ringgit you can win from Grab voucher. They're all totally free. You all like free stuff, right? I'm sure you all do, right? More important, I think it's not so much of the free thing, but it's a spirit of learning together and sharing that we all will benefit eventually in here. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.